Hey everyone, hey, Aaron the Car Guy here. Hey, today what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to keep this video quick, okay, because I actually want you all to watch it, but I got good features. I'm going to go over the safety features of the new 2023 Nissan Rogue. Now, it was redesigned in 21, so it's not technically new, but I want to go over some of the good features, some of the best features on the market in the Nissan Rogue, or the Nissan products as well. It kind of all starts with, Nissan's Safety Shield 360. Okay, so the Safety Shield 360 comes with some basic features like forward emergency braking. It's going to come with blind spot warning, blind spot intervention, backup, basically emergency braking, and then you also have backup or blind spot warning with pedestrian detection. Okay. So I'm going to discuss some of those. So this is just going to be about a 4 or 5 minute video, not going to be very long. And I'm going to show you on the car, what you can do with these features. You can turn them on or off. I've had some older, some of my older customers that, like to be in control and absolutely do not want anything, slamming on the brakes or anything like that, because it scares them. And, I totally understand. When emergency braking first worked for me and somebody pulled in front of me and then slammed their brakes, it scared me because we don't process fast enough. We got about half to full second delay by the time we react. Okay, some are better than others, but when you're driving, depending on how focused you are, will depend on when this car will actually stop. What I do want to talk about is forward emergency braking, okay, and rear emergency braking. A lot of times, people think that, the car is just going to slam on the brakes. It will not. So when a car pulls in front of you, all right, and then they go slower, and if you do not hit the brake and they're close enough to you within that radar, okay, so there's basically on the Nissan emblem, you'll notice it's round and it's like clear plexiglass now. You'll see a lot of cars like that. It's not the older, logos that's on the car, the emblems. Okay, they're not really metal anymore. They're not plastic that stick out and 2 or 3 dimensional. They're actual round pieces of plexiglass. Okay, and the reason there's a sensor behind that. Okay, so with forward emergency braking, it's kind of cool. So if you're driving down the road and there's 2 cars in front of you, all right, Nissan's emergency braking system, okay, can actually see through the car in front of you, and it looks for lights. So it looks for red lights. So if that person in front of the car that's in front of you hits the brakes, this car will notify you. Okay, it'll give you a little warning. There are red lights that come across that will say warning if you get pretty close. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But it's basically intervention to stop you from getting in an accident. Okay, if somebody pulls in front of you and slams the brakes, or they hit somebody and you're real close, you're not far enough back, 2, 3, 4 car lengths back, you're probably still going to hit them, but it's going to be a softer blow because the emergency system is going to kick in. Okay, now it's kind of like cruise control though. If you brake, then it overrides the whole system, so it's not going to just slam on the brake. So I want people to understand that you can override the system simply by just putting your foot on the brake. Okay, so that's forward emergency braking. There's also some sensors in the front bumpers too as well, that it can sense stuff around it too. And then also, depending on the model too, the base models are not going to have the extra safety features on it, but most Nissans come standard with that Safety Shield 360. Okay, the other thing that's going to come with is blind spot warning, right? So you might have an older Rogue or an older Altima, and what I mean by older, probably 17 and above. They're going to have blind spot in the column. Okay, so most of them, they'll have it right here, right there in this space. But the newer ones do not. They're going to be in the mirrors. Okay, I don't have to show you that because you can't really see it anyway. But the blind spot warning indicator lights are going to be in the mirrors. Now, if you're driving down the road in a Nissan, I'm going to speak for Nissan, okay, but most cars are the same. If you turn your turn signal on and somebody's still in your blind spot, right? it's going to beep at you and flash that light. And it's in your peripheral vision, so you're going to see it most of the time. Now, if you're a type person that looks up in the mirror, that's what the audible sounds for. When you hear that, so get familiar with that, and then that way you can operate that and know what's going on so you can respond in a proper time. And you always want to be a defensive driver anyway. This car is just going to help keep you safer. So, you know, if you got somebody that's older family member, or, you know, a young teenager, or, you know, I don't have blind spot warning in my truck. A lot of trucks don't put them in there. The newer ones do. But all the cars now that you buy, pretty much standard when it comes to Nissan. They are one of the best in the business at it, and they take it really, really serious. Okay, so then you have lane departure warning. Okay, so lane departure warning is going to tell you, it's part of 360. It's going to tell you that you're getting out of lane by a warning. Okay, an audible warning, and then the steering wheel will vibrate. Okay, in most cars. And then there's the intervention part. So you got lane assist and then lane departure intervention. The intervention will actually brake the car and bring it back over in the lane. So if it's going over the center line, it's going to brake and bring the car back, okay, to the right side, which is nice. So that's lane departure warning, lane departure intervention. And then the other thing is you have a backup camera. Okay, all cars by 2019. By law, have to have a backup camera. No, don't matter how basic the car is, or, you know, if the car has no features on it, all right, it was going to come with a backup camera, which is nice. And then this is where you got to be careful. Most salesmen don't get this. When you have backup, okay, so you had the forward emergency braking, the rear emergency braking, it has to have, you know, it'll have the sensors back there, okay? So if it has the sensors, if you got those little round sensors in the back, then that will then work. Okay, so you'll have, you know, emergency braking in the rear. Okay, now you can go into a Nissan, and then most of your screens are going to look like this. You got blind spot warning here, forward emergency braking there, and then lane departure warning. Now they've been turning these off from the factory, so if you bought a new car from me or you bought a Nissan, most of the time that lane departure warning is off, okay, because some people just don't like that. But if I want to get in, I'm just going to push this little button right here, and that's going to get me into the driver assist menu, okay, in the settings screen. So without going to the settings screen, so it makes it a little easier. So if I want to turn that lane assist on, I just go click here, and as you can see, you got warning that I talked about and the intervention. So the warning part is off, the intervention part is on. To turn it on, you just hit that, okay? The steering wheel vibration, you can have that on a low, high, okay, or middle. Okay, right now it's on middle, and that's going to be the amount of vibration the car is going to give off. So those are different ways that you can do. And then you got your blind spot warning, okay, and then you have the intervention, the intervention part. So that's actually going to do some braking too as well, or let you know, hey, get back over. And then emergency assist, you're going to have the emergency braking, okay, and then the rear auto braking. So if you don't, you know, if an older person's get scared or they just don't like it and it just scares them too much and they just want to use the brake, you can turn these off. So you do not have to have those on, okay? So those are simple ways that Nissan is doing in order to keep their drivers safe. You know, one thing I always stress, safety. Everybody wants to keep their family safe. So those are just a few ways that Nissan is going to keep your family safe when traveling, okay? The other thing is the cruise control, okay? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Actually, I'm going to do a driver's, it'll be one of my videos in the morning, because look, guys, I'm going to try to hold these every morning, and they're going to be quick, and I'm just giving you information. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to pitch you anything. This video in the morning is just going to be informational, okay? I'll probably do another video in the afternoon if I come up with something exciting, like all the Rogues we got in stock right now. But if you're looking to looking for a vehicle that keeps your family safe, you need to check out the 2023 Nissan Rogue. It just won the Motor Trend Subcompact SUV of the year, okay? That's a very hard award to get, right? So if you're looking at, you know, the RAV4, which is a big competitor of ours, or the Hyundai, the Tucson, all right, they did not score well. I think the RAV4 was number 7 or number 8. Okay. Now, there's not a lot that separates us, points a piece or a point. We just went over the Subaru. You know, Subarus are really nice cars. They're expensive, but they last for a long time. And the Rogue actually outperformed the Subaru. So that was a huge honor, which is very difficult to get, guys. I'm telling you, Nissan has never won a lot of awards like that one just because they barely beat you out on stuff. So that just tells you that Nissan is building a great product. So you need to definitely look at Nissan. If you never looked at Nissan before, you need to come see me, Aaron the Car Guy. I will help you throughout the whole process. We'll take it for a spin. We'll make sure that you understand the car. And that's it. I mean, I'm going to go over all the features. You're going to leave this lot very confident in what you're driving. Okay, let's get to the cruise control real quick. I'm just going to hit on it, but we do have Pro Pilot Assist. So you have basically 3 different levels of cruises. You got your standard cruise where, you know, it just keeps on the gas until you hit the gas, you know, hit the brakes, and then it stops. And then the other one is, you know, it's called intelligent cruise. Intelligent cruise keeps distances in front of you. Okay, and this button, I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to hit it, and it eventually will show you. So you hit this blue button, and then it's going to put 3 levels of cruise in there. Sometimes this thing don't work right if you're not driving. But you got this button here. It's got 3 lines, and that's going to keep you. I'm going to see if I can scroll down here real quick and see. No. So it's just going to do that. But once you activate this car, it's going to keep cars in front of you, okay, at a certain distance. All right, and then the blue button is Pro Pilot Assist. That car will actually drive itself, and I'm gonna actually demonstrate that tomorrow, so don't worry about that right now. But you know, Nissan Safety Shield 360 is there to protect you and your family. And you know, I hope this video helps you when making a decision when buying a car. There's so many choices out there, okay, but guess what? I'm here for you. All right. It's not about selling a bunch of cars. It's not about doing all that. It's being here for you, answering questions that you have. Put them down in the comments down there. I'll be glad to answer them. I'll kind of look through them over the next 2 or 3 days. And then I'm going to try to download this video if I can. Facebook's kind of weird sometimes, but I want to make sure that I give you all the information. That way you can make an intelligent decision when buying your next new car. Thank you. Hey, Aaron the Car Guy. All my information's down below.